Now is law and crime legal analyst Dina Dahl. Good morning, Dina. So glad you could be with us. So let's begin by talking about the leak. This is really unprecedented. How serious is this? An investigation is now underway into the source of the leak, but what could the implications be here?
I think that you can't overstate, like you said, how unusual this is. It is very serious. The court's going to take it very serious. There's not that many people that may have had access. I believe there are 12 clerks. So, in this day and age, what they can tell from forensics and computers, they may very well find this, but it's unprecedented what it's done. Probably more so what the opinion has done, but also what the leak has done to the credibility of the court, I think can't be overstated.
Right. It's really shattered the faith and trust into this hallowed institution. So talk to us then about what this does for the image of the Supreme Court in the eyes of Americans.
I think the fact that the Supreme Court is willing to overturn a precedent, Roe v. Wade, which we know has been around for almost 50 years and was affirmed in the 90s by Planned Parenthood versus Casey, we would consider that in America a right that was really enshrined in the Constitution and settled law. The fact that this really radical, extreme conservative justices are willing to overturn that is judicial activism that we haven't seen before. I mean, the vast majority of Americans, I believe it's 70%, did not want to see this overturned. So this is something that is shocking. This is why we're seeing protests. And also, the opinion by Justice Alito alludes to the fact that the right to privacy that we see in other fundamental rights, such as the right to contraceptive, the right to decide who to marry, may also be at risk.
Judicial activism. So do you have a theory on the motive behind the leak? Why would a clerk, presuming we don't know certainly if it was a clerk that released this to Politico, why they would do that?
It's really unclear. And I think it's also unclear if this is the latest draft. I mean, we know that Justice Roberts has authenticated it. We also know that this draft was circulating in February. It is now May. It is possible that some of the language has already changed. It's also possible that more will change, although at this point, maybe not, because it might be considered it's changing under pressure. I don't know really exactly who benefited from this leak. Maybe that's how you could trace who did it, because at this point, no matter what kind of protests or political pressure, I do not see those justices who were willing to overturn it change their mind. So I'm not sure exactly who benefited from the leak.
So the ruling, as you point out, is not final. Given the outcry that we just showed with the protests, and certainly there are people who have wanted Roe v. Wade to fall, they're happy about this. But how do you think public sentiment could play into perhaps a change, or is it already been decided and now the public just has to wait for the final decision to come out next month?
I mean, assuming that this draft is very close to what we have as a final, I do not see public pressure changing their opinion at all. I mean, we know that we've seen video of Justice Gorsuch, Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Amy Coney Barrett. In their hearings, all state, really actually under oath, that they believed Roe v. Wade to be settled law. Senator Collins has come out and said that. Two of them also said this privately in her office. If they are willing to have kind of really changed dramatically from what they said to the public about how they perceive Roe v. Wade and are willing to overturn it here, I do not see protests changing them at this point.
Dina Dahl. Dina is a law and crime legal analyst. Thank you so much for being on our program with us this morning.